Hello, my name is Darren Barrington-Light and I'm going to take you through what's new in the 7.27 release of Chromeleon CDS. So I'll start with a quick introduction and then we can go and look at the new features. So yeah, if you're already familiar with Chromeleon CDS, but if you're not, Thermo Scientific Chromeleon CDS is the gold standard software from Thermo Scientific, and is the most modern platform available on the market today. It's designed to provide intelligent functionality while maintaining the rules of operational simplicity. So intelligent functionality means that the software contains smart features to enable you to perform all the tasks that you need to do, while operational simplicity is a core design principle bringing the highest levels of ease of use by applying 3 simple rules to every feature that's added. These rules are: minimize the number of steps needed to perform any task, make all steps easy to understand and easy to use, and minimize the time needed to perform any task. By sticking to these 3 rules, we can make sure that everything is fast and intuitive and really delivers ease of use. Chromeleon 7.2 was the first CDS to combine separation, which is GC/IC/LC, and mass spectrometry in an enterprise or client-server environment. By extending Chromeleon beyond chromatography into mass spec, you can now streamline your chromatography and MS workflows in one single software package. The MS support is focused on routine and quantitative workflows, which gives LC/GC and IC/MS users access to the existing rich quantitative data processing and automation capabilities of Chromeleon. It is the software that made multi-vendor instrument control a must-have for any CDS. We pioneered it, and today it even still sets this industry standard for third-party instrument control, supporting over 525 different modules from 20 different manufacturers. Our unique e-workflow procedures help you streamline your laboratory workflows. These provide a framework for quickly creating sequences that meet your SOP requirements, ensuring correct methods and reports are used and the sequence is structured properly. Finally, a comprehensive suite of tools are provided to ensure full regulatory compliance and data integrity, which of course can now be applied to your MS data. So before we get into the content of the latest release, I think it's important to quickly recap the change in Chromeleon release strategy that I described in more detail in the Chromeleon 7.2.6 introduction video. So we now have 2 streams that run in parallel, which is our feature release stream, which is a focus on features, which is aimed at our workstation customers, non-regulated customers, or new regulated customers who may want to get the latest and greatest when they join. And it is regular releases of new features, new instruments, and it's always a full setup. There's recycling on a sort of 6 to 9 month cycle. Our other string is the stability focus, which is our long-term support release. This is where the system does not change, it is stable, it's aimed at our enterprise customers who really don't want to be implementing lots of new features that they don't need. It's a lot of effort to validate that. They also want quick issue resolution, so they need regular releases to fix bugs and issues that they find. So the long-term support really is designed for them. We have quarterly bug fix maintenance updates with no new features in there, maybe some instrument drivers, but certainly no new features for instruments. And these long-term support builds are released on a sort of 24 to 36 month cycle in coordination with the major feature releases, major version releases of Chromeleon. Okay, so this particular release we are talking about is feature release 7.27, which was released in November 2017, and it has many resolved issues, actually over 100. If you want to know about all these different resolved issues, more details than what I'm going to tell you today, then obviously go and find the release notes, and that'll have everything in there that you might want to know about. Okay, so what is new in Chromeleon 7.2.7? Let's look at what's new for instruments and updated instruments, and then we can look at the new features. Okay, so the big instrument introduction for Chromeleon 7.2.7 is the Thermo Scientific Dionex ICS 6000 HPIC system. So this is the latest and newest ion chromatography system from Thermo Scientific. And it features a lot of new features inside Chromeleon. and new modules, and also a new app, which we will discuss later on. We've also updated the Thermo Scientific Dynex ASAP Auto Sampler. It now offers supports full sample overlap, which allows you to prepare one sample while running another, which also works with our auto dilution feature within Chromeleon. So if you have one sample that is out of spec, then you can auto dilute it back and re-inject it. We've also got the Integrion HPIC, which now has added control for 6 new suppressor models. So there's new models of suppressor out, which are now supported by the Dynex Integrion system. We've also got the Ultimate well plate sampler with fraction collector. There's come new parameters added for this fraction height and needle extension, just to allow finer control over the needle positioning in the collection vial. And finally, the Thermo Scientific MSQ Plus, our single quadrupole mass spec, is now been tested and validated for use on Windows 7 with 64-bit compatibility. So as I said, the majority of features in this release are aimed at the Dynex ICS 6000 system. And as you can see from this list, there's quite a few. So the first one is consumable groups. So this now allows each of the consumables within the system to be grouped together depending on the flow path of the instrument. So they can be linked together so that you can, if you have two sides of the system running, you can link the consumables together and group them together for each flow path that you're running. The temperature compartment also allows you to assign the consumables to the different temperature zones to make sure everything is already correctly recorded. It's also got specific controls for voltage optimization of the DRS 600 suppressor. This makes sure that when it starts, when you first use it, the initial conditions are optimal, and also increases the lifetime and maintains the performance across the lifetime of the suppressor. There's also some installation guides and troubleshooting knowledge base around all the consumables for the Dynex ICS 6000, so those are all available for that. There's also a couple of nice report templates that have been added, which is a quality assurance report and a consumables tracking report templates. These are part of Chromeleon and the default reports in Chromeleon itself. There's also a new e-workflow template for retention time standards. So this allows you to use the Dynex retention time standards to automatically calibrate and set up your processing method for the analysis that you're about to do. As I said, the other thing that is available with ICS 6000 is an app on a mobile tablet. This is fully linked to Chromeleon CDS, so when you go to the app, you will log in with your regular, normal Chromeleon CDS credentials, even allowing to select your role. And this then gives you access to the instrument controls that are on the system. So you can then access an instrument overview, which from there you can view the individual modules, so you can see what's going on with your system, the pressures, the flows, the detectors, you can see the signal. You can then also view into specific modules and get more detailed and a bit more information on the specific modules, and also control those. You can change the settings directly on the tablet. You can also view the real-time plot, so you can see from a distance what's going on with your chromatogram coming out. You can view the consumables log right on here, so you can see what's happening with your consumables in the system, such as your suppressors, your columns, anything like that, your LM generator cartridges. You also have access on this tablet to the troubleshooting and installation guides. It's a bit small on the screen above, so I enlarged it below. And you can see there's some links to, for example, column maintenance, column installation, installation of the different devices. And when you click on one of those links, you actually get to access to a video which walks you through setting it all up and installing it correctly. Finally, as I said, this is all linked to Chromeleon. So anything that you do on the tablet, on the app, is fully audit trailed within Chromeleon. So all of the actions will be put into the Chromeleon audit trails, fully traceable. As I said, you look under the user because you have to log into the application on the tablet as well. So it's fully traceable and fully compliant. Okay, some other features that were added to this release are nested auto repeat. So before we had our auto repeat function is a fantastic function for automatically repeating sections of your report for different channels or different components or even different injections. What you can do now is you can do a nested auto repeat, so you can auto repeat based on channels and components in the same report, in the same sheet. We also now have the ability to specify a reference injection for MS components, and this can be dynamically or fixed. So you just literally select the options in your MS components tab on the reference injection tab, and you can specify which injection you want to use as your reference. Another nice feature is now we can directly import Waters Empower data. This is both 2D and 3D data, instrument and processing methods. So you go to your Empower data, so you go to the database, log into the database, and then Chromeleon can then import all of the different projects and sample sets and everything you need to transfer data across. And finally here is the UV spectrum search. So when we're doing library searches, previously you had to list every single library separately in this list to be able to search them. What you can do now is you can store all the libraries in one folder, specify that folder, and then the actual library search will consider every single library within that folder. Some other features, some nice data processing. The Cobra Wizard. As you run through the wizard now, you can now define all of the general parameters by time, by injection type, and by channel. This is obviously allows you to modify these parameters throughout the sequence and give them different values as you go through the sequence to improve and optimize your integration. We've also done some enhancements to the display of the MS quantitation channel for mass spec users. This, what you can see right now, is what it used to look like, but now you have a lot of options, and you can change the colors, you can change the labels, you can change the layout, so it gets more easy to view, easy to work with on the screen. So you've got a lot of options in there to change it, which is just one example. We also now have the ability to manually integrate. So when you run a query in the past, you would get a list of results, a set of hits that would produce a kind of a virtual sequence. You could save that sequence as a sequence, but when you were looking at them in the actual query, you couldn't do any integration on them. You couldn't do any manual changes, but now you can. If you're allowed to, you can do a manual integration of those chromatograms in your query results. Finally, there's a couple of there's troubleshooting guides added, one for the Vanquish H binary pump and one for the ultimate electrochemical detector, the 3000 RS. These manuals are now available inside Chromeleon. So that's it. In short, Chromeleon CDS 7.2.7 adds some new and updated instrument drivers, mainly the ICS 6000. A lot of new features specifically for the ICS 6000 and that nice app that you have for control of the system. And it has some new improved data processing and reporting tools. And together they reinforce Chromeleon's position as gold standard CDS, and it still is the only CDS to deliver both separation and MS in the enterprise environment. So finally, if you want more information on this or Chromeleon or anything, please go to our website resource center at thermofisher.com/Chromeleon, where you can download an app or order a CD which has over 70 videos on various features of Chromeleon. Also, our mascot Charlie has his own Facebook page where you can connect and share and follow his adventures as he travels the world. If you are on Facebook, I would encourage you to connect with Charlie as we do post events and tips and tricks there. So thank you for listening, and goodbye for now.